Hello and welcome to your favorite YouTube channel, Cloud Expert Solutions. And welcome back to AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate Certification Bootcamp. In this module, we are diving deep into 3 critical Amazon S3 concepts that are guaranteed to appear on your AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate Certification exam. We will start with the crucial block public access setting, then how to host a static website directly from Amazon S3, and finally how to manage cross-origin resource sharing or CORS feature. Before completing the video, we'll log into AWS Management Console and we'll review all these 3 features demo. These are fundamental features for any AWS architect. Moreover, if you review this module without skipping any content, you will be able to host your own website without spending on servers. On behalf of the Cloud Expert Solutions team, I would like to thank you for joining us and selecting this bootcamp. And I promise this module is going to be very informative even if you are pro in AWS. So let's get started. First up, S3 block public access. This is arguably the most important security feature for S3. All S3 buckets are private by default, but some use cases may require public access. The primary goal is to ensure your data remains private and prevent any accidental or intentional misconfigurations that could expose your data to the public internet. You can configure block public access at 2 levels, either at the individual bucket level or across your entire AWS account. For enterprise environments and the certification, the account level is the best practice. Here is the configuration we touched briefly during the Amazon S3 overview module. S3 provides 4 settings for you to control the public access granularly, and let's break them one by one. The first configuration, block public access to buckets and object granted through new access control list. What it does, if you turn it on, you cannot accidentally make an object or bucket public using a new or modified ACL. The next configuration, block public access to buckets and object granted through any access control list or ACLs. In easy to remember term, this means that lock the ACL backdoor. What it does, if this is turned on, then S3 will ignore any ACL or access control list that gives public access, and it applies for both old and new ACLs. The third configuration, block public access to buckets and objects granted through new public bucket policies or access point policies. If you want to remember this is no new public policy. What it does, if this is turned on, you cannot add a new bucket policy that grants public access. And the fourth configuration, block public access to buckets and objects granted through any public bucket policy or access point policies. If you want to remember this, these policies lock the policy front door. What it does, if this is turned on, then S3 will ignore any part of a bucket policy, it could be old or new, that grants public access. Although these 4 configurations are visually very similar but has distinct purposes. For the certification, please remember the block public access switch, and you can configure block public access for an individual bucket or across your entire AWS account. Next, we are going to dive into one of the S3's most popular use cases, static website hosting. S3 is designed to serve static files very efficiently. Think HTML pages, CSS files, JavaScript and images. The key word here is static because S3 cannot run server-side codes like PHP or Python. It does not have a backend processing environment. And if you have any requirement, then you should look at services like Lambda or EC2. However, if you have an existing website and if you can segregate the static and dynamic content, then you can serve the static content from Amazon S3 while the dynamic content is still getting served from the backend servers or APIs. Hosting a website on Amazon S3 is incredibly cost effective and scales automatically with your traffic. Here is an architecture of S3 hosting static website, and here the URL looks like this. If you closely observe the URL, it has three components: HTTP, then your bucket name with S3 website, then the AWS region where your bucket is hosted, and followed by the final component. Based on your bucket name and the AWS region where you are hosting, this URL will change for you. This is a very critical point, and this is one of the few scenarios where you do need to allow public read access to your bucket's content, and when you are doing that, you should configure this carefully to expose only the necessary files. If you are hosting your website using S3 alone, then the bucket URL will not be secure, that is the bucket URL will be HTTP. But if you have a requirement for HTTPS website, and AWS also recommend this to use Amazon CloudFront in front of Amazon S3 while hosting a static website. Amazon CloudFront is a CDN or content delivery network service. We have a dedicated session on Amazon CloudFront. This is very important for the certification. If you use Amazon CloudFront, then you don't have to disable public block access, and we found most of the online courses teaches this wrong. Please remember this and you don't do this mistake. If you have a requirement for a custom domain and you want to expose using HTTPS, then you should use Amazon CloudFront. Here are some basic troubleshooting tips in case you are getting HTTP 403 forbidden error while hosting the static website. First, you should check if you are using without an Amazon CloudFront, then block public access configuration should be disabled. Your S3 static website URL should not have HTTPS if you do not have CloudFront. And finally, you should check S3 bucket policy if that allows public read from your bucket. Now let's review cross-origin resource sharing. If you are not familiar with what is cross-origin resource sharing, then this slide is very important for you. Cross-origin resource sharing or CORS is a web browser security mechanism that allows a web application running on one domain, which is called origin, to access resources on a different domain. In simple terms, web browser enforces a strict security policy called the same origin policy or SOP. This policy normally blocks a web page from making requests to a different domain. This feature is to prevent malicious activity like a harmful website stealing data from your bank's website. Let's understand using a diagram. Here we have our origin, browser and server. When the browser initiates the request, the web browser adds an extra header to its request, telling the other server where the request is coming from. Then in server response, server on the other domain checks its configuration, and if the origin is trusted, then it adds a header called access control allow origin to its response, which explicitly telling the browser that it's okay and you can use this data. When the browser receives the response with that header, and if the origin match, then it will allow the web page to process the response, otherwise it will block that. Here is an AWS documentation link on cross-origin domain sharing. Let's review the document. We will provide the URL of this document in the video description for you to read, and I will request you to go through this document. This document talks everything about CORS, and it has a beautiful diagram to explain the different parts. Now let's go back to our PPT. Now let's review the Amazon S3 CORS feature. Configuring CORS is straightforward in the AWS Management Console, and we are going to have a demo on this. You can enable CORS at your own bucket, and you define the rule using a JSON configuration. In that configuration, the most important parts are allowed header. That means specific header you are allowing, and you can give either specific header, or if you are using asterisk, that means you are allowing all the header. Then allowed methods. Here you can allow HTTP methods like get, post, put, delete, whatever you want. The third part is allowed origin. You can allow any specific domain to access your bucket. Or you can use wildcards to allow every domain, but that will be less secure. Then we have expose header, where you can specify headers that S3 can return to the client. And finally, you have max edge seconds. That means how long the browser can cache the pre-flight response. Now let's understand how S3 works when you enable CORS. First, the browser sends a pre-flight option request to Amazon S3. S3 checks its CORS configurations. Here we have the JSON file. Then S3 responds with the allowed origin or the method. And finally, browser proceeds with the actual GET or POST request if it is allowed. Now let's go back to AWS Management Console and let's review all these features in action. Back to my AWS Management Console, and I am at S3 dashboard. For this demo, we are going to use our existing bucket, Cloud Expert Solutions S3 demo. First, we are going to review the block public access. For that, we will go to Permission tab, and here is the block public access. Let's go and edit. Here I have block all public access. Now, since we are going to host a static website, first what we have to do, we have to disable that. Here are the 4 options. You can enable any specific things. I am not going to go in that granular level. I am going to disable for all the 4 options. Now let's save the changes. I will confirm the changes. Now let's use this bucket to host for a static website. To host static website, we need to go to properties and we have to scroll all the way to the bottom. Here you have static website hosting configuration. We are going to edit this and we are going to enable static website hosting. Either you can host a static website, or if you have an website with static and dynamic content, then you can redirect your request to an object, and we should use that when you are using Amazon CloudFront. For this demo, we are going to use host a static website. Our index document will be index.html. This is going to be our HTML page with what we are going to host the website, and let's save the changes. Here is a simple HTML page that I have created for this website hosting, but you can use your own HTML page or your own logic. I am going to upload this file to my S3 bucket. Now let's upload that HTML file to our bucket. I'll add file and I am going to add index.html. Okay, the file has been updated. We are going to check the one last thing from permissions. This is the bucket policy. In this policy, I am allowing public read for the entire bucket. Now let's try to access the website. Here is the URL where I have the bucket name, then S3 website, then AWS region. This is very simple but very powerful. I have created this HTML page. Now I can access this HTML page as an website, and I do not need any web server or any server to maintain from my end. Here some of our bootcamps that is available. If you want to follow any bootcamps, these are different modules. So this is just a simple page I was trying for this. This is not the entire module list. Now let's go back to our AWS Management Console. Now let's review the S3 CORS feature. To enable CORS, under Permission tab, you need to scroll below. After Access Control List, here you have Cross Origin Resource Sharing or CORS. I have already enabled that. To enable CORS, you need to edit this policy and you have to provide that policy where you have to specify allowed header, allowed method, allowed origin, expose headers and max edge second based on your requirement. Once you are done, you can save the changes, and as simple as that, for this bucket, CORS policy is enabled. That wraps up this module. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more AWS exam preparation courses and cloud certification bootcamps. Got questions or feedback? Drop them in the comment. We love to hear from you. Thanks for learning with us at Cloud Expert Solutions. You are now one step closer to crushing your exam. See you in the next module.